Everybody, welcome to our Dig a Little Deeper segments on 1st and 2nd Peter as we study this summer. Excited about that. Got a question this past Sunday and want to encourage you to either send questions or find one of us afterwards and make sure that we get it or write it on the cards. Anyway, got a question this past Sunday about why Peter would use the phrase sprinkling with blood. And the question was related to, I thought we were, washed in the blood, covered in the blood. And that made me think about just how many Old Testament references were there in Peter. So as you study, as you read, as you interact with it, just to let you know, there's a bunch of Old Testament references there. And I'll just give a few here, kind of sitting in two different streams. One is the stream of connection. He draws some allusions, if you will, or specific point-to-point kind of connections there. A couple I'll just point out here. One is in chapter 1, verse 16, where he quotes Leviticus, where he says, "Be holy as I am holy." There's a direct connection to what he's saying. Another one is the language in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, where he talks about you are a holy nation, a royal priesthood, where he uses that language. That language is coming directly out of Exodus chapter 19, where God speaks this over the people of Israel. And now Peter is saying God is speaking this over us because of who Jesus is and what he has done. And the last one I would just point to would be in 1 Peter chapter 1. I actually read it this past Sunday, where he talks about a lamb who was slain. Really, that's carrying the idea or the picture, the connection with the Day of Atonement, where the Lamb was slain on behalf of the people for sins. So that's kind of one. The second way that Peter uses the Old Testament is really in what I would just simply call illustrations, something like this. The sprinkling of the water, that would be one example of that, or excuse me, not sprinkling of water, but sprinkling of blood. That would be one example of that. Because in Exodus 24, when Moses and the elders are there having a feast in the presence of the Lord and inaugurating the covenant, Moses takes blood and he sprinkles on them, it says. And then the altar was also sprinkled with blood, as well as the Ark of the Testimony, and all this stuff was sprinkled with blood on the Day of Atonement. So you've got both the initiation of the covenant as well as the renewal of the covenant in both of those ways. Another illustration would be in 1 Peter chapter 3, when he talks about Noah and he uses the ark as a picture of people being saved through the water. He's clear to say it's not the water that does the saving. It's not the washing away of dirt, but it's kind of like a picture or an illustration of baptism, that we are carried through, if you will, the waters of baptism by Jesus and are appealing to him for a clean conscience. So those are two different ways. Why though? Why is that important? It's a good reminder that Peter's a Jew and he is speaking from that kind of worldview, and what he is doing in that is he is stepping into and reminding us that there is a story that God has been telling over and over and over and over and over again. He has been formed by this, and he is trying to help those of us who are reading his letter to be formed by it as well. So that's the first session in Dig a Little Deeper. I hope you come up with some more questions along the way. I'm excited to be studying this text with you.